Welcome to another episode of the Forgotten Athlete Podcast. Thank you for hopping out. Thank you for joining. Thank you for clicking on this podcast. I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, share. As always, love this podcast. I love doing this. I'm doing a solo deal today because it's kind of late, and we were gonna plan on recording a podcast tomorrow, but this has to get off my chest. I just watched Thursday night football game, and it was probably one of the worst calls I have seen in a while, and that's saying a lot. This NFL season has been nothing but penalty after penalty after penalty, especially in these primetime games where these games are kind of like by themselves. No other games are happening right now. Sunday night games have been awful. Monday night games have been awful. Like the Buccaneers and Raven game was awful, and we had another awful game tonight. There was just penalty after penalty, and then there's missed penalties, which is the worst. And then something needs to be done about it. Something needs to be happened about it. And I'm talking specifically about the NFL. I know this is a sport-wide issue, but I'm talking specifically about the NFL. And there's a lot of things I've looked up since the game's ended. It's 8:17. Game ended about 10 minutes ago, and I've looked up a lot of stuff. So let's get to that stuff that I've looked up, and let's get to figuring out a solution around what we need to do pertaining to this NFL officiating situation, because this is getting ridiculous. Time after time after again, people are losing money. Listen. NFL is a friendly, a bet-friendly sport now. People bet on these games. People bet for a living on these games. I'm not the executioner. I'm not the judge. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm not saying, hey, you deserve to lose money if you bet. That's not me. But people at the end of the day, they bet their hard-earned money on these games. People bet their hard-earned money to go to these games. People bet these hard-earned money to pay for season tickets, to pay for gear, to travel. People pay a lot of money to have a product on the field that is not 100%. And you know what we call that in just regular antitrust business law? We call that consumer fraud. We call that a lot of other things that can happen, and the NFL sport is technically committing that at the moment. And it's becoming to the point where it's just getting ridiculous time after time after time. We are having to deal with this situation, having to talk about the officiating. Officiating should not be part of the game. I shouldn't even know the referees are out there. And it's just becoming ridiculous. So I'm going to dumb my rant for a second. I'm going to go on more rant. So if you're not feeling my rant, if you don't want to hear me complain about this, then, go for it, because this is all I'm going to talk about today. Obviously, the Rams won. I picked the Rams to win in my pick'em league, so I was the one of like 15 people to pick them. People thought the Vikings were going to win. I don't know. They just played against the Lions. No one has won straight up. The following week when they played the Lions, the opponents are averaging like 27 points a game after it. So I don't know what they were thinking, but I don't know. Anyways, so I found this law, and so I looked it up. So I just and I'm just trying to make I just want people to know this is a friendly podcast. I love football. This is not really everything I say here should not be taken seriously. But my opinions are valid and they come with facts. So right now, I'm just reading something right now. Just how to become an NFL referee. There's 9 steps to become an NFL referee. I'm not gonna bore you with all those 9 steps, but I did want to leave you with this. There's no retirement age for the NFL to be an official. You can retire anytime. I don't know the ages to the officials that we're refereeing today, but I'm going somewhere. So stay with me. The experience, I'm reading something off from Google or from WikiHow.com. This experience is usually gained by refereeing high school games, college games, and semi-pro games. Keep refereeing more minor until you have enough experience to be considered for the NFL referee position. This is a long process. There is a reason that the average age of an NFL referee is 51. The average age of a referee is 51. I don't know what that means. I don't know the numbers of how many are in that 50 gap. I think that's too high. I really do think that's too high to be officiating these games, especially the way that these games are moving nowadays. It's fast paced. It moves very fast, and you can miss things at a blink of an eye. Look, I'm not saying that if you're 50 years old you can't ref or you shouldn't be refereeing. Or if you're 60, you shouldn't be refereeing. That's not what I'm saying. But the average age of refereeing a game in the NFL of being 51 is a bit too high for me. And it's because of that reason that I don't think these referees are athletic enough to move around and figure out why there is a call, why things are, happening at such a fast pace, or why they call a hold on every single play. Like holding happens every single play. That's the way I was taught. I played football majority of my life until I got to college. I'm sorry, until I got to high school. I played football. I've been around football post high school. I've been to colleges that play football. I know people who played in the NFL. I've talked to people who played in the NFL, who've coached in the NFL. I have conversations with people on not a daily, but I would say weekly basis about the NFL season. And no one really understands the officiating. And it's kind of like one of those things where you just kind of like, oh yeah, they're human beings, they make mistakes. Like that's what people how people view officials. But the more stuff that happens with officiating, the more we have to dig into deep details like what I'm digging in right now to figure out, hey, what's the solution around this? Why is this happening over and over again? So my one of the things I'm stating right now, one of my hypotheses, is that hey, maybe these referees are too old. So I was like, what's the average age of a referee? I Googled it, and Google pulls up average of a referee is 51. And there's a show more area, so I'll go to the show more section. Um, uh, and you know what? So I'm going somewhere. So please stay with me. 75% of officials in the NFL are over the age of 50. Comparing that to other leagues, like let's say the EPL, English Premier League, the average age of their officials is 38, 38.7 to be exact. And never, I never hear anything about the English Premier League having issues with the sports. I never at all. Um, it further goes on to say that the average age of a male sport official is 29. The average age of a female sports official is 25. And, and I guess that's just generalizing the sport officials of all sports, not just professional, but amateur, high school, semi-pro, college, so forth and so forth. Um, that's just one of the things I have off the things I want to say. Comparatively to the English Premier League, we don't really hear any issues with soccer officials. Obviously during the Olympics there are sometimes World Cup. I remember I think it was a few years ago where there was a controversial call between Argentina and France with Messi and uh, can't think of the French guy, the French player's name. But when they were playing against each other and they were going back and forth, there was a controversial call made. But I think age has something to do with it. I'm not going to blame this whole thing on 50-year-olds. Like if you're 50 and above, like listening to this, don't take this as me saying, oh, like 50-year-olds should not be referees. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if we're gonna make it so, hey, you have to do all these things, and by the time you're 50, yeah, you can get a chance at officiating in the NFL, then you guys better be damn good at it. And you guys better know what you're doing, and you guys better not miss majority of the calls that are happening. And you guys better not be overzealous with making calls, making penalties. Like these people have been officiating for a long time. They officiated from the ground up. They have to start from the ground up, as I just read. And you're still making the same mistake. You still can't see that face mask. The referee was 3 yards away from Sam Darnold, and he didn't see the officials. As you know, I had the Rams to win this game. I want the Rams to win the game, like for my pick 'em. Like I didn't bet on the game, but I had to pick them, and I picked the Rams to win that game. I still was like, why did you make that call? Why didn't you throw the flag? So that's one. Two, my number two is this. Why do we not make calls reviewable in the final 2 minutes of a game? I don't understand that. Like if there's a questionable call, if there's something that hey I missed this, but hey replay review says that hey this happened, why is that not applicable to penalties? They do it right now for drop balls. Oh, a player will catch a ball and then after further review, replay assistant says that, this was a catch, this was not a catch. Or they do the same thing with first down. Oh, we changed the spot of the ball. Like they do all these things already, but they don't do it for penalties. So if the referee miscalls a call, we we have to just say, oh, hey, the referee made a mistake, on to the next play. No, it's not on to the next play. People's jobs are at stake every single play, every single game. People's jobs are at stake. Off the field, on the field, in the front office, at the ticket center. Like people's jobs are at stake. If like let's say if the Vikings, like I'm a sales guy, I work in sales. If the Vikings are winning, like sales are going through the roof. Once the Vikings start losing, tickets are not going to be being sold. Like they lose this game, which they did lose this game. This could affect a long trend of them going on a 3, 4, 5 game losing streak, and people start saying, "Oh, Sam Darnold isn't good. I'm just going to sell my tickets to resellers now because I don't want to go to the game anymore." So, like, this is all of a domino effect. I know that's a little extreme situation I'm talking about, but I'm just trying to make it so it makes sense to the average person out there that's watching this, because I know that we are not all like we are not all ballers. We're not all like, oh, who cares about the league? Who cares about if you're watching, if you're watching this right now, if you're watching this later on throughout the week, like you love football, or you have some type of passion for sports, right? Or you just like hearing me talk. I mean, which I appreciate. But like we need to figure out a way um, to make it fair on both sides on what's at stake. Like we even saw the thing with the Georgia and Texas. I did not want to bring this up because I've already talked about it, off the podcast, and I didn't want to go and bring it up. But I'm bringing it up. We had a situation with the Georgia and Texas game where Georgia got a pick six. They didn't call a flag. Then they called a flag, and the fans threw water, threw like stuff on the field. Then they reversed the call. So it's like you guys are not consistent. Like, okay, we get it. Maybe that was the right call. Maybe that was the right call to call pass interference or to pick up the flag. But you have to be firm with your call and consistent with it, right? So, but if you're wrong, there should be a chance for us to say, hey, as a league, we're going to make sure that every call is managed right? Like the NBA does that stupid 2 minute report, which is bogus. Like I don't care that you guys missed a call. Like make the call right. Like officiating overall needs to be better. It just needs to be better. Like we pay way too much money. Tickets are way too expensive. Cable bills are way too expensive. Streaming this stuff is way too expensive. I invest my time. I'm recording a podcast based on what I watched for 3 hours. Like I'm putting a lot of stuff into this. A lot of more people. You got thousands of people recording podcasts right now, just talking about the situation. So people are investing their time and effort into this product, and we are not getting the full level of service. I mean, if this was a food product, if this was a liquid product, a drink product, if this was a clothing product, if this was any other product, people would be tweeting this, and people are tweeting the NFL probably right now, but the NFL's not going to care because people are still going to be back this Sunday, which is I'm included, watching the next game. So it's just like you don't know what to do as a fan. Like you complain, you complain, you complain, nothing happens. So I don't know. I'm done off the rant, but I just wanted to bring it. I was going to record this podcast, talk about other stuff about the upcoming week for tomorrow, but I had to get this stuff from my chest. It's on my chest. Um, so Lakers are 1-0. Shout out to my Laker fans out there. We're 1-0. We play tomorrow. We play the Suns. I think we're gonna win that game. But yeah, if you guys agree with me, disagree with me, let me know. I'm gonna hang up here. Please like, subscribe, comment below what your thoughts are. I know I wasn't the only one frustrated after that game was over. So if you agree with the call, if you say, hey, referees are gonna make mistakes, let me know why. I would love to hear from everyone. Deuces.